to be embrace who you are. Quote Brené Brown. Being vulnerable is not a sign of weakness, it signifies the strength it takes one to be open themselves to others. Today is a special day as two efficient Toastmasters clubs from different countries are coming together to have a joint online meeting. Our TMOD today will awaken us with the power of being vulnerable in our meeting shortly. The mission of a Toastmaster Club is to provide a mutually supportive and positive learning environment in which every individual member has the opportunity to develop oral communication and leadership skills, which in turn fosters self-confidence and personal growth. Fellow Toastmasters and most honored guests, good afternoon. I, Ovin Krasta, your VP Education, standing in as Sergeant at Arms, cordially welcome you all for this joint meeting. To note, it will be meeting number 438 for WMC Toastmasters Club and meeting number 87 for the Guest Club Allied Debaters Toastmasters Club. Reminder before we begin, please maintain silence during the speeches by muting your audio, but keep your video on all the time. Being vulnerable is the only way to allow your heart to feel true pleasure. Ditto to this quote, we have a personality among us who thinks from his heart first than his mind. I have seen his compassionate side towards people around while working along with him in this term. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to welcome that personality who is the beloved president of WMC Toastmasters Club, President Toastmaster Abdul Rahim. Toastmaster Abdul Rahim, floor is yours.
Meeting number 438 and meeting number 87 call to order. Well, thank you very much, Toastmaster Ovin, for those beautiful motivational words. You have set the tone for this grand meeting today. We have 20 members. I'm sure quite a few are going to join today. So, my dear fellow Toastmasters, most honored, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening to all of you. And a warm welcome to this joint meeting of WMC Toastmasters Club and Elite Debaters Toastmasters Club Kuwait, right? And special thanks to DTM Ramkumar Nachapalli, our president of Elite Debaters Toastmasters Club, and his distinguished members of that club, and all the guests, honorable guests who are here, most welcome, and thank you very much for attending this meeting on this Friday weekend evening. It's supposed to be a family time. You have decided to devote for Toastmasters, which is indeed a great thing. You know, I mean, they say, you know, the best investment is not in gold. The best investment is not in mutual funds. The best investment not in real estate. The best investment is in yourself, which will pay you back 10 times, 20 times. So that's what you have done, investing in learning, education, and upgrading and updating your skills. So congratulations to all of you. Today, I am looking forward to learning from each one of you. Well, part of learning, of course, is how are you all today? By the way, can we have a thumbs up? Great. Wow. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Well, part of learning is also part of learning and communication is also learning how to use the language, right? So grammar. By the way, what exactly is grammar? Can anybody say what is grammar? You can unmute yourself and speak. What is grammar? Let's be vulnerable. I think DTM Ramkumar, you can unmute. Yeah.
Thank you. Correct usage of the word, sir, if I am correct, and using the past, keeping in mind the past tense, present tense, vowels, adjectives, all this comes under the grammar to make a reasonable justice to our communication whenever, wherever, professionally or personally we make in the social platform or talking one person to another. Usually the grammar is nothing but usage of good language. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
So beautifully said. So I don't need to define any further. Thank you very much, DTM Ram. Yes, as they say, is basically user's manual. When you buy a phone, you get a user's manual.
Rules of a language.
Oh, sorry. Yes, please.
The rules of a language is called grammar.
Exactly. That's the rule book. When you buy a phone, you get a rule book, how to use the phone, what to do, what not to do. So as DTM Ram and Murali said, it is use of language in terms of tenses, words, enunciation, pronunciation. By the way, I learned how to pronounce broccoli only last week. Can anybody say how to pronounce broccoli correctly? How to pronounce broccoli?
Broccoli, if I may say.
Broccoli, exactly. Broccoli, it's not broccoli, it's broccoli. It's not chocolate, it is chocolate. So it is not shepherd, it is shepherd. So it is not ghost, it is ghost. H is silent. So to observe such intricacies and nuances of language, we have a very eminent Toastmaster today who has joined Toastmasters in 2019, but within a short span of time, she has become one of the very prominent Toastmasters in District 20 by virtue of her passion, enthusiasm, and commitment. She is a Mumbaikar. She is from Amchi, Mumbai. Well, I can see Yashodhan smiling because he is from Pune. And I'm sure Yashodhan is going to use the maximum number of times the word of the day today. Well, she is a cost and management accountant, and she is an immediate past president of C2A Toastmasters, and also the current area director of Area 7. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our grammarian of the evening, Toastmaster Maya Sharma.
Good afternoon, good evening, Toastmasters, friends, and guests. Grammar, irrespective of any language, is the basis of communication. So the better the grammar, the clearer is the message. I am grammarian for today's meeting, and it is my responsibility to pay close attention to all the speakers, listen carefully to their language usage, and make note of any misuses of the English language, as well as to note down any outstanding words, quotes, sayings, and thoughts. It's also my duty to introduce the word of the day, which is awakening. If I may use it as my background. I hope you all are able to see it as my background. Awakening, as I said, is used as a noun as well as an adjective. Just a minute. As a noun, it means as a noun, it means an act of waking from sleep and also an act or moment of becoming suddenly aware of something. If I have to give an example of a sentence, it would mean, since my awakening, I had realized it was a very special day. The war came as a rude awakening to the hardships of life. As an adjective, awakening means coming into existence or awareness. As we may say, his awakening desire. I shall make a note of the number of times the word of the day is used and shall give a report of the and shall give a report to the general evaluator whenever called upon to do so. With that, I pass it back to President.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Maya Sharma. That was beautifully explained, and we are very much honored to have you with us. Thank you so much. And I'm sure it's going to be a very favorite word of everybody today. Well, let's get to know our honorable guests quickly with a short introduction of, just to save time, honorable guests, if you can introduce in 2 to 3 sentences, it will be great. Yeah, starting with DTM Ramkumar. Yes, sir, over to you.
thank you. It's an honor and pleasure to have me here as a joint meeting venture, because this could never happen without the help of WMC Toastmasters such as VP Education Owen. He was spending days and nights. I know any event or any moment or any meeting without a person's dedication and commitment would never happen. I commend President and VP Education for the relentless efforts. I welcome WMC Toastmasters and Elite Debaters Toastmasters. Remember, number doesn't matter. What it matters is the quality that you present today. What impresses audience and members is all about your integrity, honesty, with all the values we produce in the Toastmasters, which demonstrates you as an individual who become a leader in communication. So I welcome you all to the Elite Debaters Joint Meeting number 89, which is a progressive. At the same time, I would also like to thank my excellent leader, I must say, DTM Annadatta Murali Manohar, who has 4 Distinguished Toastmasters Award, and Animolan Sangeeta. I don't know whether she's here today or not, but she will be joining, I believe.
She's there.
She's there. And she's from the Far East Asia, Malaysia. And you should see her evaluation when debates goes on. And I'm so impressed about the curriculum. At the same time, I would also like to tell we have one dynamic Sai Satvik, who is a young engineer. Because of his engineer college timings, he could not join now, but eventually he will be joining soon. And in short, I must say that we all express sincere gratitude to one and all, and let's all together lend our ears, jot down a little, what were the points to improve ourselves. Maybe like our president said, the grammar is very important, using the word, and at the same time, learning how to communicate with the wonderful speakers today. So all the best, and over to you, President, Dynamic President, Toastmaster Abdul Rahman, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. DTM Murali, congratulations on your achievements. Can we have your short introduction, please?
Very short, because I'm also a short person, 4 feet 13 inches. I'm happy to be here with all of you. I'm learning every day something new. Today, after a long time, I'm able to see my elder brother, Dr. Babu Ramachandran, and very happy to see him after a long time. It's an awakening movement when we have joint meetings like this, so that every day we don't know, without our knowledge, we'll learn something new. Happy to see Coach and Area Director Toastmaster Maya Sharma also. And welcome to our guest from Alexandria Toastmasters, Toastmaster Haur Kurosia. And thank you, and over to you.
Thank you. Toastmaster Maya, I've already introduced, but if you would like to say a word or two, you can unmute yourself.
Yeah. I'm from Seathway Toastmasters Club, which actually is an all-women's Toastmaster club. So I kind of rarely get to participate in a meeting which has a mixed Toastmasters. So really looking forward to the meeting today. Thank you.
Additional to that, I would like to commend Area Director, Madam Maya Sharma. She expressed her opinion that she wants to participate in the debates, and that is how she is joined today in our debate meeting to make a difference. Thank you, Area Director Maya Sharma, for being with us. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. DTM Prabhakar, over to you, sir. Your short introduction, please.
Good evening to all. It's a pleasure to be at this meeting, which are jointly conducted by WMC and Elite Debaters. I am president of Mecca Toastmasters Club. Plus, I am also area director, Area 21 director. So I'm happy to join this meeting. I look forward to the proceedings. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And Sir, 30 seconds perhaps. DTM Prabhakar is a area director for this term, and he was doing phenomenal job. And he's our mentor, coach, and at the same time, he has chartered Mika, which is a chartered accountants involved in the club, and he's passionate Toastmaster and engaging with new members as well as veteran members. And I'm very happy to see him part of our joint meeting today as an area director for the division. Thank you. Over to you, sir. Welcome you all.
Thank you. Most welcome. Our individual evaluator, Ma'am Sangeeta ji. Can we have your short introduction, please? I believe she is not available right now. So,
She's there. She's there.
Yeah, but let's come back to her later. Paramjit Singh ji.
Hi everyone, this is Parminder Singh and I'm from Bahrain, and today is my first meeting with Toastmasters. It's great to be among all of you esteemed members, and I would like to thank Mr. Abdul Karim who invited me today to join this meeting and to find myself, to find my talent. Maybe I have lost, I've lost my talent. I want to find it. That's why I'm here among us all. And I thank Mr. Abdul Karim to bring me here. By profession, I'm chartered accountant from ACCA and in Bahrain for the last 15 years. Thank you, everyone. Over to you, Mr. Abdul Rahim.
Thank you very much, Parminder Singh ji. Actually, I mispronounced your name as Paramjit, but it's okay because you also mispronounced my name as Abdul Karim, so it's fine.
I'm sorry to, this is the first meeting, so I'm just trying to,
I was just kidding.
Anyway, thank you so much for correcting me. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Parminder Singh ji, welcome. And ma'am Karusa Alex, may we have your introduction, please? Okay. Anil Abraham.
Our name is Haur Karosa. She's from Alexandria Toastmaster Club, Cairo.
Yeah, but I think she's not responding right now.
Hello.
Yes,
can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, sir. I'm Anil Abraham from All Gulf Toastmasters. So I look for that. Thank you for having me here, and I look for the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. That's great. Gavalier Tanmay.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tanmay Rajesh. I am a Gavalier in the WMC Gavel Masters. I've been a Gavalier for the past around 4 years, but this year I can really go back to becoming Gavalier because last year it clashed with my tuition timing. So I'm meaning to make most of my 1 year where I can actually attend meetings. And this is my first joint meeting, so I'm hoping to have fun. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Sangeeta ji, are you there to introduce yourself?
Hello, good evening. Okay, sorry, I'm unable to on my camera. Can you all hear me?
Yes. Loud and clear. Yes.
Okay, loud and clear. All right. I'm a member of Elite Debaters Club and I'm from Malaysia. So this is the first time I'm joining this joint meeting. I'll be the evaluator. Hope that when I'm giving my evaluation, the line doesn't drop or y'all can hear me clearly. All right, all the best. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. Most welcome. All the best to you in your evaluation today. Madam R. Karusa Alex, are you there? Okay, I think our Toastmaster of the day later can get introduction of.
Yes, hello, how are you?
Yes, please. Yeah, please. Please go ahead.
Looks like she's having issue with her.
I'm from Alexandria, Egypt. Alexandria Toastmasters Club. I'm also a vice president.
Your audio seems to have a problem, ma'am. Okay. DTM Murli, can we have her introduction briefly from you? You are the one who said something, I think.
You want me to introduce Har Karosa? Har Karosa is a very aggressive, proactive Toastmaster. And since 2021 July, when they got amalgamated with District 20, she has been attending many of the online meetings, and it's been very good to know that she is also present here. Inshallah, we will be having her when our session comes or in the table topic session. Over to you, President.
Thank you very much, DTM Murli, and most welcome, ma'am. So thank you all, most honored, distinguished guests for attending this meeting. Well, just a couple of minutes or 3 to 4 minutes of dwelling on the theme of the day. Well, before that, just to introduce our club to our honorable visiting club members. Well, WMC, as we all know, is World Malayali Council, which is an international organization with more than 18,000 clubs all over, spread across 5 continents. Started way back in 1995 in New Jersey, right? But WMC Toastmasters Club is not a direct offshoot of World Malayali Council. We are a separate independent Toastmasters Club chartered in 2003 October. So we have a 19 years of glorious legacy, right? And it is a matter of honor that we have with us our founder president, Dr. Babu Ramachandran, one of the most active members of this club since 19 years, attending almost every meeting, guiding and encouraging us. One of very key public personality of the Kingdom of Bahrain, right? Now, the theme, well, I'm sure the Toastmaster of the day will have a lot of things to share with you. Just to give a brief insight into what I feel. Well, I had mentioned this episode in a couple of, or rather a few months ago in my presidential address. I delivered a speech in our Crown Plaza Hotel meeting 3-4 years ago. And of course, everybody said wonderful speech, great speech. But I really wanted to know how was exactly my speech. So during the break, I went to my soulmate, right? Friends, many friends may not tell you openly what they feel, but soulmates, they will tell you on your face when your face is dirty. So I went to my soulmate, DTM Manoj, he's here, yes. So he was having a cup of coffee during the break. I said, Manoj, how was my speech? He looked at my face, smiled, and he said, Rahim, your speech was nice, fantastic, but what he said after that was a rude awakening for me. Thank God I asked his evaluation. It really transformed my speaking style. He said, your speech was great, but I missed Abdul Rahim today. What a profound evaluation. What exactly Manoj meant is, you may have a great body language. You may have a great content, a wonderful closing, beautiful opening, but it did not come from your heart. You are not genuine. You're not authentic. You're not yourself. What a tremendous evaluation, ladies and gentlemen. So being yourself, vulnerability. I think this was advocated the very first time by Professor Brem Brown in 2010 when she spoke on a TEDx platform. A speech that became viral, and today in YouTube it has more than 17 million views, right? And then she wrote a book, Daring Greatly, which became a worldwide phenomenon, in which she dwells on this subject. So to put it very simply, I was talking to my learned friend, philosopher and guide, Toastmaster Ponnambalam, the other day. He told me a very simple example. He said, many people don't open their videos on Zoom. Why? Because they're afraid that people may see their unshaven face or untidy hair, background, or their bedroom or home. So they don't want to play safe. They don't want to be vulnerable. right? At the same time, a couple of weeks ago, I attended a workshop on club election. DTM Ram was there, DTM Murali was there. In that presentation, the presenter did a wonderful job. He presented beautifully, and there was a Q&A session, question and answer session, in which a lot of people asked questions. He was answering competently. And one person asked a question, and he said, the presenter said, I don't know the answer for this. If anybody knows, please share. He was being vulnerable. I'm sure those 40 plus people there, nobody might have felt what kind of a presenter he is. He's come with no preparation. What kind of presenter? No. I think almost everybody felt a respect for him, a connection with him, because he was being himself. He was being genuine. He was being authentic. He was not being somebody else. As Professor Brent Brown said, let go of what you're supposed to be. Embrace what you are. That's what our founder president, or rather our founder leader, Dr. Ralph Smedley was. He was by himself. If you read his biography, you will know that he was a very unassuming, down-to-earth, low-key, low-profile person. He was never after the limelight. He did not hog limelight. He was not a person who wanted to take a center stage. But his major strength was, if you read his biography, you will know that his major strength lied that he could work tirelessly for hours. And when he started this great movement called Toastmasters, I think he did not have a grand ambition of establishing a great global platform, non-profit organization of public speakers. No, I think his objective was very simple: to start to improve the communication skills of his students. That's all. But he was being himself. He had this genuine, authentic purity of intention, which built connection. And that movement spread across the length and breadth of the 50 states and became a worldwide phenomenon because of that connection. So when you are being yourself, as Manoj said, when you speak from your heart, when you are being genuine and authentic, you are fostering empathy, sympathy, and building connection. Osho once said, connection is life. Osho said, if you pluck a flower from a tree, the flower will die. If you uproot the tree from the ground, the tree will die. If you separate earth from the sky, the earth will die. It will not survive without sunlight. So connection is life, disconnection is death. So ladies and gentlemen, today my advice is, let us get connected in this highly disconnected and distracted world, right? So fellow Toastmasters, ladies and gentlemen, love yourself, respect yourself, trust yourself, but above all, be yourself. Okay, now let's get the consent of our VP Education, Toastmaster Ovin Cluster. If he has any apologies, any change in the agenda. So over to you, Toastmaster Ovin.
Good afternoon once again. Mr. President, we are, all the role players are here, except the one first point was I have opened the meeting instead of our Sergeant-at-Arms Mark because he's unwell. That's the only change. Rest of things are all okay.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Ovin. Toastmaster Yashodan, I think you want to propose to for the agenda, right? Yeah, okay. Anybody to second? Okay, Toastmaster Manoj. Thank you very much. Well, now let's roll the agenda. And at the helm is our beloved, as I mentioned, guide, philosopher, and friend, who is the Toastmaster of the day. Well, to introduce himself, he's been a Toastmaster, I think, for not less than 10 years, WMC Toastmasters. But many people, may not be knowing that he has been spearheading our Gavels Club, WMC Gavels Club, of which Gavalier Tanmay is here today, which has a membership of not less than 30. I think it's more than 30. An active Gavels Club since 2014, and he's been a counselor of that, right? And for those non-Toastmasters here, they might be wondering what is Gavels Club. Well, Gavels Club is nothing but a club, a Toastmaster club of youngsters, ideally students, who cannot join Toastmasters because of age requirement, right? So he's been advisor, or rather a counselor of WMC Gavels Club for the since 2014, right? And well, he is a man of letters. He is a man of few words, but he may look reserved. He may look quiet and reticent. But if you establish a connection with him, you will know that he's a gem of a person, right? And he is a trainer at Bahrain Training Institute. He's a father of a teenage daughter, and he is our vice president membership today. So his name is Pannambalam. Pan means in Malayalam is gold, and Ambalam means temple. So Pannambalam means it's golden temple. He's not only golden temple, he has a golden heart. So ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Toastmaster Pannambalam Thirumalai.
Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Toastmaster Abdul Rahim, our president, for that wonderful golden introduction. Fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests, I am really delighted to be the Toastmaster of the day for today's meeting, to guide you through today's meeting. I'll try my best to make sure that it is an enjoyable and a learning experience for all of us. It is said that we Toastmasters eat vulnerability for breakfast. That is because our club gives us the opportunity to be vulnerable. And our club, WMC Toastmasters, was founded in the year 2003 by Toastmaster A.S. Jose, mentored by Toastmaster Matthew Uman. And our founder president was Dr. Babu Ramachandran, who is still our pillar of support and mentor to many of our Toastmasters and even our Gavaliers. When I was young, my uncle used to say, it's better to keep our mouth shut and let people think we are an idiot, rather than opening the mouth and confirming it. I believed it to be true for a long time, but after so many years, when I look back, I realized that it is much more than being perceived as an idiot. It is also shame, a feeling of not being enough, a fear of judgment, lack of trust, and being scared to be vulnerable. See, we cannot have meaningful relationship unless we trust and we are ready to be vulnerable. Unless we dare greatly, we will not be able to know who we really are. That brings me to the theme of the meeting, the power of being vulnerable. I got this theme inspired from these two books, Daring Greatly and The Power of Vulnerability by my favorite author, Brené Brown. To borrow her words, what's vulnerability? Many of us know the word, many of us use it, but sometimes we ourselves get confused because we interchange it with prone and susceptible and bigger. But let me use this opportunity to take you through exactly what does vulnerability means and how beautifully the author is explaining to us many of the concepts, pitfalls, myths. So I'll be using the knowledge which I've gained from this book to guide you through the meeting. So as per Brené Brown, vulnerability means let go of who you think you are, who you think you are supposed to be, and embrace who you really are. So just have taken some points which is being shared in the book. Most of us feel vulnerable in this situation, and let's see whether we are able to relate some of the things mentioned in the slide. I have carefully taken a few things which I resonate very deeply. One is sharing an unpopular opinion, standing up for oneself, asking for help, saying no, starting our own business. We have Toastmasters in our club who has dared and taken risk and done this. Calling a friend whose child just passed away. The first day after divorce. First date after divorce. Sharing something we wrote. Falling in love. Trying something new. Or getting pregnant after 3 miscarriages. Waiting for the biopsy result to come. Exercise in public, especially when we don't know what we're doing and when we are out of shape. Asking for forgiveness. Singing in the bathroom. I'll just focus on one thing, which to tell you that how deeply it impacts us. I remember like 20 years before, I was taking a shower and immediately I forgot that there are people around. And I started singing inside the bathroom. And on top of that song, I could hear people laughing out loud about how miserable I was singing. And after that day, I have never dared to sing even inside a bathroom. So that is the effect of the shaming or some sort of response from people around us, which stops us from being vulnerable. So let's, in the coming moments, we will see what stops us being vulnerable. But before that, I would like to share what our own DTM Rekha Uttam wanted to share about vulnerability. Since she was not coming and joining our meeting, I asked her what does it mean for her, and she explained. Vulnerability is about sharing our feelings and experience with people who have earned the right, very important. People should earn the right to hear our vulnerability. We cannot share it with everyone. Being vulnerable takes courage, but it's worth it. It's worth to be ourselves, to connect with others. So only when we are ourselves, you'll notice that we are able to connect with others and others are able to connect with us. And for her, this resonates with the WMC's theme, be original, be yourself. And for her, there is no other safer place to be vulnerable than WMC. This is what Dr. DTM Rekha Uttam shared with me yesterday. In between, let me come out of the slide because I'm not quite sure. As Toastmaster Abdul Rahim mentioned that I'm an instructor. Sometimes when I teach, I continuously talk and I don't realize that I get disconnected. So am I audible? So I'm used to asking this question again and again. Am I audible and visible?
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. So this is because I'm not able to see this audience screen, so that's fine. So how does it feel to be vulnerable? We have all experienced this at some point or the other in Toastmasters. It's panic, anxiety, fear, hysteria. And of all that, we feel a feel of freedom, pride, and amazement once we finish the speech. and then we are back to panic again. This pride and amazement keeps us coming back again and again to this stage and make ourselves vulnerable again. So the purpose of this theme or selecting this theme is to create an awareness about vulnerability. What is vulnerability? Why we are afraid to be vulnerable? And most importantly, we want to hear from experienced people like you, how you felt when you dared to be vulnerable. So looking forward from all of you to hear from all of you, your life experience, how you dared to be vulnerable. So one of the reasons why we are afraid to be vulnerable is social conditioning. We are all conditioned in one way or the other. For example, men must be strong, men cannot cry. Now another is shaming. If you look at any upbringing, if our upbringing or maybe the upbringing of our children, we can really notice that knowingly or unknowingly or unintentionally, we are being shamed, either in school or in offices. We are always compared and told that we are not enough. For example, if I have to share an example in my school, if we do something really silly or a small mistake, we are asked to kneel down on the corridor in the assembly or in the corridor, and we see all the other teachers and the principals looking down on you. These shame we are never able to forget even when we become adult and we become older. So before we dare to be vulnerable, this shame pulls us down. This shame stops us taking bold decisions and courageous enough we cannot afford to make mistakes, because always our self-worth is attached to our productivity, our creative efforts. So as long as it is attached with our productivity, we will definitely be afraid to be vulnerable. Definitely will be afraid to take risk and try new things. Definitely will be afraid to be ourselves because we are afraid of being judged. So you may be asking that, what is my credibility? What is my credibility to talk about this theme? The only credibility I would say is I personally don't do vulnerability, to be honest. I hate uncertainty. I hate not knowing. I want to know about everything, where we are heading. I need a clear picture about what I'm going to do. I don't try new recipes. I don't try new things. One thing I want to share here is my travels are all planned point to point. See, travel is supposed to be rejuvenating and exploring, but I make sure that every bit of my travel is planned so that I am not in a vulnerable situation. I know many people who don't have even one dinar investment in shares. I know people who are afraid to fall in love because they are afraid to get hurt. So when I look at them, I feel, oh, I'm not alone. So another pitfall is, the more we get experienced, the more we become senior in Toastmasters, we are afraid to be vulnerable. Because for example, I'm in Toastmasters for 10 years. So now I can't mess up my TMOD role. I have to be perfect. Even our current generation has even more challenges because we had less chance of to feel not enough, but because of the social media and all these things, our current generation is always feeling not enough. So they are always afraid to be vulnerable. But breaking all these norms, today we have a young Toastmaster who is new to WMC, but even though she is new, she has never dared to take up any responsibilities and be herself. So may I request Toastmaster Prakriti to share with us her dare on availability. Can we hear from you, Toastmaster Pragati? Are you there?
Yes,
Okay.
and then Toastmasters and guests. At the beginning, I was scared. In my speech, I was not confident. My inspiration is DTM Sajita. Earlier, I needed help from my parents to cross the road and even while going in the lift. I had the fear while driving my car, while parking my car. I never pretend to be anything. I'm not. I won't change. I stand up for what I believe in and always speak from my mind. I'm not perfect. I'm authentic. I'm real. I'm 100% me, never anything less. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Pragati, for sharing your experience. Moving on, we have, just give me 1 second. To check our R's and Ums, we have with us Toastmaster Norman Das, who represented us in the division level twice in International Speech Contest. Toastmaster Norman Das has been in Bahrain for the last 12 years, works for Toyota Spare Parts. When asked about vulnerability, he said, being in sales, working on targets, vulnerability has become part of his life. Though mood gets off quite often, music, jogging, gardening helps him to counterattack such situation. Toastmaster Norman Das, can you please explain the role of R counter?
Good evening to all. My daughter is 5 years old and she has the habit of using the word and in the beginning of most sentences. For example, if I say to her, Naomi, finish your homework and you will get everything whatever you want. And in reply, she says, we will go to the park now and you will buy toys for me and chocolates for me. Many a times we use these words and sounds as a crutch or pause filler, like and, but, so, you know, If we are in a vulnerable position, then we tend to use more of such words. My role for today as R counter is to count those words and sounds, and I will give my report at the end of the meeting. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Norman Das, for this unique script. Thank you for explaining it very clearly. Our next role play for today's meeting is the timer. When we dare to be vulnerable and be ourselves, we may forget time. So to help us express ourselves in the stipulated time, we have with us a finance professional with more than 30 years experience, presently working as CFO of Petroleum Coke Industries Company, Kuwait, joined Toastmasters in 2011 and was president of 2 clubs. Presently, Area 21 Director and President of Mika UAE Toastmasters Club. When I asked him his view on vulnerability, he said, for him, vulnerability management is like risk management. We need to assess all risks that we likely face in our personal life and take measures to minimize the vulnerability. DTM BV Prabhakar, can we hear from you?
Dear Toastmasters, good evening once again. Being Toastmaster, we need to be awakened to the fact that we should not only deliver excellent speeches, but also deliver that speech within the time allotted. So my role would be to ensure that we all, the prepared speakers, or table topic speakers or evaluators complete their speeches within the time allotted. So I'll be using my virtual background to show the timings, to alert to the timings. We have prepared speeches with 5 to 7 minutes time allotted. At the end of 5 minutes, I will be showing the green color in the virtual background. I hope you see the background, green. At the end of 6th minute, I will be showing the orange color. And at the end of the 6th minute, I will be showing the red color. You will have 30 seconds as grace. Same way in the table topic speeches, I'll be showing the green color at the end of the 1 minute, orange color at the end of 1 minute 30 seconds, and the red color at the end of 2 minutes. You will have 30 seconds again as a grace period. During the evaluation session, I'll be showing the green color at the end of the 2 minutes. I'll be showing the orange color at the end of 2 minutes 30 seconds. At the end of 3 minutes, I'll be showing the red color. So you'll have again 30 seconds as the grace. I'm not sure we have timings for any other sessions like business session and all. So in case we have any instruction to that effect, I'll be monitoring the timing. Thank you, and over to the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, DTM BV Prabhakar, for this detailed explanation. Moving on to the education section, we have 3 speeches lined up today. Speaking, just give me 1 second. One of the reasons mentioned in the book is why people are not courageous enough to be vulnerable is about because of the criticism we face from people. And the solution, actually the book starts with the solution that we don't have to worry about the comments, especially given by people in social media, especially by people who don't have a face. We don't have to consider or be offended by the suggestions. We need to be concerned about the feedbacks given by the man in the arena. The man is, it is not what she writes is, it is not the critic who counts. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood. Today, we have 3 such speakers who had earned the right to give us the feedback, who has really demonstrated as a president, as a VP education, as a VP PR, or even representing us, all the 3 of them has represented as our club in the divisional contest. So moving on, our first speaker for today is Toastmaster Jeffrey Abraham. His speech will be evaluated by DTM Dr. Babu Ramachandran. When I asked him his take on vulnerability, this is what he said. To be vulnerable is a quality which symbolizes humility. Life is a process of continuous learning where you learn, unlearn, and relearn. Being vulnerable is an important aspect of this. When you're vulnerable, you accept your mistakes gracefully, respect others sincerely, and share your limitations openly. DTM Dr. Babu Ramachandran, can I request you to read out the criteria?
Thank you, DTM Ponnambalam. Sorry, Toastmaster Ponnambalam is going to be a DTM soon. Owen, yes. Can I ask you whether that alternate arrangement has been made with Abdul Rahim?
Yes. Abdul Rahim will evaluate because of the delay we are having at present. So Abdul Rahim will take up. So could you please pass over the control to Abdul Rahim so that he may read out the objectives.
Sorry, dear Toastmasters, I had to be part of an important meeting at 5:30. My sincere apologies as I have to leave for another commitment. I'm enjoying this meeting. I'll be joining in from my car without the video on. I've been great going. It has been a moment of awakening for me as I listen to each person who speaks here. And being vulnerable is always the hallmark of a person who really wants to learn, unlearn, and relearn. Apologies again. Back to you, Ponnambalam. You can introduce Abdul Rahim while I take leave. Apologies.
May I request Toastmaster Abdul Rahim to read out the criteria for our first speaker?
Well, it's an honor for me to fill in the shoes of Dr. Babu Ramachandran. And all the very best, Dr. Babu. We look forward to see you soon online on this meeting. Well, Toastmaster Ponnambalam, my dear fellow Toastmasters, most honored guests, and our speaker, Toastmaster Jeffrey Abraham. Well, Jeffrey Abraham, as we all know, is a champion speaker who is going to represent in table topics in DTAC next month, our club. He is going to speak from the path strategic relationships, project number 3, which says the objective of his speech is the purpose of the project is for the member to learn or review basic research methods and present a well-organized, well-researched speech on any topic. Timer, please note 5 to 7 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, please listen to the speech because the way he uses the language, the content, the closing, the opening, the way he speaks from the heart, you will definitely enjoy his speech. All the very best, Toastmaster Jeffrey, and over to you, Toastmaster Ponnambalam. You have to unmute Ponnambalam.
Thank you, Toastmaster Abdul Rahim. Our first speaker for today will be representing us in the district level of Table Topics contest. He is none other than Toastmaster Jeffrey Abraham. According to him, vulnerability is a state of mind where one is always anxious of how the world perceives you, and it's unwritten and unmet expectations of you. Put your hands together to welcome Toastmaster Jeffrey Abraham with a speech titled, To Veg or Non-Veg? To Veg or Non-Veg, Toastmaster Jeffrey Abraham.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ponnambalam. I was already feeling vulnerable, and now after that intro by Toastmaster Abdul Rahim, I'm feeling even more vulnerable now. But nonetheless, thank you for those good comments. Do you need me to say a few comments about vulnerability, about Toastmaster
Please,
Ponnambalam?
we would like to hear you. We didn't want to put you more vulnerable because you're going to deliver a speech.
Yes. Actually, the last couple of years, I would say, I have been in a heightened state of vulnerability because in end of 2016, I left a high-paying job and I decided to join a very small company with 3 people. And in the beginning, it was good, challenging, and exciting. And then things were started to pick up, and then COVID sort of brought things crashing down. And in the midst of all of this, so you're already feeling vulnerable, as far as expectations are concerned. And in the midst of all of this, I decided to put my head and register a new company last year in December 2021. And it's something that is still making me feel extremely vulnerable, not just with respect to the people that I used to work with, but also in terms of these unsaid vulnerabilities you feel that from your loved ones. I mean, I know that our loved ones will never say these things to you. They're always supporting you, but you know that there are some expectations from you. And even though they don't say those, they will continue to support. So there's that fear of failure of your loved ones, and especially your family, your parents, your wife. I mean, that state of vulnerability is perhaps, I would say, much worse than anything else, more than what the world states. So yeah, I know, I mean, I'm going through it, but the challenge is to overcome it, become stronger and rise up. And I think, just moving forward is the most important thing, and not think about that state, but hoping for the best. So those are my few words. Okay, I'm going to start my speech. So the timer, if you're aware. So before I do so, I would like to share my screen. Oh, yes, I'm allowed. Is it visible?
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh,
you're visible.
Oh, sorry, that's not what I wanted. I want to do a slideshow, yes. Okay. Perfect. Minimize myself. Oops. All right. Veg or non-veg? That is the question. It's a complicated question. And perhaps next time when we do have a debate with the Elite Debaters Club, we could perhaps address some of the nuances of this very topic. Fellow Toastmasters and esteemed guests, today we have companies vying for the space of your stomach and your kitchens. So you have companies saying vegetarianism is good or non-vegetarianism is good, to the point that even you have burgers that are supposed to be tasting like meat, like Beyond Meat, like Impossible Burgers, and all these very fancy things that are coming our way. Now, with respect to vegetarianism or non-vegetarianism, there is some fundamental things that historical research has shown, and that some sort of consensus is there. For the vegetarians, the non-veg will say that there is an increased risk of iron deficiency, anemia, there is an increased risk of zinc deficiency, there's an increased risk of vitamin B12 deficiency. While the vegetarians are telling the non-vegetarians, well, studies have shown that you guys have a shorter lifespan and are more prone to chronic diseases as compared to vegetarians. And on average, you have more heart disease, hypertension, and diabetes. And also, apparently, predominantly, you eat lesser amounts of fruits and vegetables. And that's what the vegetarians have against the non-veg and vice versa. Well, these are all studies that was based on epidemiology, which is a method used to find the causes of health outcomes and diseases in populations. Now, you might be thinking, Jeffrey, are you going to be buying or let's say being biased to one of them? Yes, I am biased to being a non-veg because I am a non-vegetarian. However, I would think that both of us, both teams can come together against a common enemy. And that is the common enemy that I'd like to speak to you today. And that is nothing else than vegetable oil. And both these foods use vegetable oil, both these means of diet use vegetable oil liberally. And did you know that vegetable oil is a refined fat? And it's kind of funny because vegetables don't produce oil, right? And these oils and fats for consumption, as you can see, they are processed in these big chemical plants with a lot of pressure and heat, and it converts these grains or these seeds into which were earlier waste products, and today they have become, they're turning it into oil for consumption and for cooking. And today, and you have to know that these oils are prone to oxidation. So when did this all start? In 1829, the oil that was extracted from cotton seeds, which is a byproduct of harvesting cotton, it was used to light lamps, or it was also used as a lubricant for machineries. And in 1880, corn oil extraction was found out in America, and that started to be sold for cooking purposes. And in 1911, Procter & Gamble, they came out with the fantastic innovation called crystallized cottonseed oil. And it looked like lard, which is pork fat, or even beef fat, or beef tallow, you call it, which was what people used to use at that time. And surprisingly enough, coincidence or not, in 1912, the first recorded heart attack accurately described in a medical journal was done in 1912. Now, later on, even soybean was introduced into the market. Soybean oil was introduced in the market in 1940s, and it was started to be produced in large quantities. And today, according to Dr. Chris Knob, a third of our diet is coming from factories that make these oils. As you can see, this is a statistic that I have here in front of you, which shows the overall global consumption of oil around the world over the last decade. And you can see that in 2021 alone, the sunflower seed oil consumption amounted to 20 million metric tons worldwide. And a metric ton is 1,000 kilograms. So you crunch the numbers. And global vegetable oil production amounted to 209 million metric tons in 2020 alone. And if you can see this chart that's in front of you, you can see that this is a chart where you have data from America. And you can see that from 1909 all the way up to 2009, which is almost a century, you can see how the consumption of vegetable oils are across per person has dramatically increased, and quite frankly, not even linearly, but exponentially. And if you look at here, which is the data that we have for the emerging markets, you can see that all the countries, including United States, we can see that all the other countries that consume vegetable oil, it's just going up year on year. Now, the problem with this is, and here, as you can see, it's a very big market, so there is a great incentive to keep producing these oils and marketing it to people. It's anticipated to become a 300 billion industry by 2027, just in a couple of years' time. The thing about these oils is that they're very, very cheap. And because of the enormous government subsidies paid to these to produce these GMO corn, which is genetically modified corn, soya, safflower, rapeseed or canola oil, and safflower producers, these oils, the sad thing is that they have twice as many calories per gram than refined sugar does. And it is everywhere. And it's almost all processed foods that we purchase. Let's say the simple bread, the frozen burgers that we buy, the oat milk. Yeah, oat milk is full of, has 2% of oats, while the remaining is probably rapeseed oil, or you have sunflower oil, etc. And oils generally, as you can see in this chart, it raises LDL or bad cholesterol, which is the leading cause of death and heart disease in the world. And vegetable oil is also bad for diabetes, right? And this is a chart which shows an increase. And you may say, Jeffrey, there seems to be a correlation, but it's not set in stone. Yes, but obviously correlation need not be causation. But however, in this case, there seems to be a big likelihood that these are all correlated and connected in some way or the other. And you know, when it comes to diabetes, there's something called as intramyocellular lipids or fats inside your muscles. And it interferes. So as you have more of this vegetable oil in our blood cells, it interferes with the insulin's ability to act like a key to signal glucose coming in. And glucose needs the key insulin to come inside the muscles, which may lead to conclude that oils could be the main driver to diabetes. And also, not only that, you know, there seems to be a correlation between consumption of vegetable oil and the rise in autoimmune diseases and Alzheimer's as well. This all data is from the United States, and we can presume that this is also what you see globally. So then you may be asking, Jeffrey, what about those studies that state that vegetable oils are actually good for you? Well, the truth is that most of these studies are done over a very short period of time, such as 5 years. And to truly understand, longer clinical studies must be conducted. Many of the effects of the things that we consume are seen perhaps at least over a decade's time. And a lot of these diseases that we say are lifestyle diseases do not come immediately. So what are you trying to tell us, Jeffrey? Not to have vegetable oil? Well, the thing is that if it's there in everything, I can only tell you one quote that is left by Luigi Cornaro, who used to be a 15th century Venetian author and a nobleman. When he was 35, it was said that he had written or recorded that he was almost at the verge of death. Yet he found the secret formula to life. And that's when he wrote a book. It's like a four-part book called The Discorsi. And here he says, and one of the quotes is that he who would eat much must eat little, for by eating less, he will live longer, so be able to eat more. So have fun. Go eat the things that you love, but be mindful of how much you're eating and control your consumption, and you can live a longer life. And this whole debate of being a vegetarian, non-vegetarian, you can just throw it out the window. Do what you like, but eat less and live longer. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jeffrey, for that wonderful sharing of knowledge. So knowledge is always, does it help us to be vulnerable or does it stop us from being vulnerable? So I think sometimes more knowledge stops us being. So children are supposed to be enjoying happy life because I think they have less knowledge. Anyways, thank you for sharing this wonderful knowledge with us. Moving on, our second speech will be evaluated by Toastmaster Murali Udikant. He is one of the best examples of being yourself in every situation. Whether it's a one-to-one personal communication or a formal Toastmasters meeting or even a serious evaluation, he doesn't pretend what he is not. When you watch him speak, you will understand what I meant. Toastmaster Murali Udikant, can you read the project criteria, please?
Good evening. The speaker is attempting his project 3, engaging humor. And the purpose statement of this project is for the member to clearly define how Toastmasters envision mentoring. The purpose of the speech is for the member to share some aspects of a previous experience as a protege. The time allotted is 5 to 7 minutes, and I wish my speaker all the very best. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Murali Udikant, for that explanation. Our next speaker for today is Toastmaster Yashodhan Abhyankar. He'll be representing us in the district level for a humorous speech contest. He helped me to break the first myth about vulnerability, that vulnerability is weakness. As per him, often vulnerability is considered to be a weakness. However, when you expose yourself and are comfortable with becoming vulnerable, that is when the real growth happens. For instance, we drop all our guard and come up to the stage to do our speeches. That's when we learn and grow stronger. Put your hands together to welcome Toastmaster Yashodhan Abhyankar with a speech titled Desire. Desire, Toastmaster Yashodhan Abhyankar.
Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible and visible.
Great. During my school days, English was my most favorite subject. Me and my friend, we always maintained our rank. Both of us used to come first. He from the top and me from the bottom. Respected TMOD, fellow Toastmasters and guests, good evening. Earlier, I used to hate English, and now I write my speeches in English. I surpassed this canon between fear and love with the help of mentoring. I studied in Marathi medium, my mother tongue, and my wife studied in English medium. So after coming to Bahrain, I gave her the honor of becoming my first mentor. I requested her to correct my mistakes whenever I speak or write something in English. One fine day, I accidentally attended a Toastmasters meeting. You know how? My daughter, Cavalier Mugda, was supposed to give a speech in her parent club. And me being her father, my duty was to drop her to Crown Plaza Hotel. Now, instead of waiting in the car park, I decided to sit in the AC hall. That was an awakening moment. I saw that atmosphere, I was impressed, and I decided to join WMC Toastmasters for enhancing my English skills. I wrote my very first speech, the icebreaker, and shared it with my daughter and wife. Both of them tried to read and understand it. Then Mugda said, "Dad, can you tell me what you want to say in Marathi, please?" After listening to me, she again started correcting the speech and then ended up rewriting the entire speech. That's it. From that time onwards, whenever I read a speech, the first draft goes to Mugda for the corrections. Sometimes I feel sorry for my mentor. She doesn't have any other choice but to correct the speeches written by me. She corrects the grammar. She tries to enrich the speech by adding appropriate words and phrases. And what do? I look at the corrections and delete whatever is difficult for me to remember. Father. But let me confess, because of her mentoring, I've reached to a stage where nowadays there are less corrections and more suggestions in my speech. Thank you, my mentor. During the contest season, I ring the doorbell of the stalwarts in the club to improve my speech. DTM Rekha Uttam pinpointed the grave mistakes in my mannerism. I used to blink my eyes. I used to bend my knees. I used to lock my hands. On top of it, my vernacular accent. The credit of my success at division level contests goes to her mentoring. Ladies and gentlemen, she deserves a big round of applause, even if she's not here. During one of the speeches, while reading the letter received by Digunana, I sat on the chair for a longer time. Afterwards, DTM Dr. Babu told me, "Yash, I was eagerly waiting for you to get up from the seat and speak." I narrated the sad end of Digunana and concluded the speech in that sad tone. Toastmaster Bilal pointed out that I should come out from that character to give a more powerful message. My wife, daughter, Rekha ma'am, Dr. Babu, Bilal, none of them are my club appointed mentors, but still they help me. Why? Because I approached them to seek their advice. I had a desire to perform better. Dear friends, look around. Each and every person around you is your mentor in one way or other. There is something to learn from everybody. What is required from you is your desire to learn. A veteran Toastmaster, Abdul Rahim, goes back to his mentee and asks his opinion about the speech. This shows his humbleness and his desire to excel. Dear Toastmasters, this is a forum where you get to learn so many different things. You can take different roles like grammarian, accountant, TMOD, and so on. What's more, you can join executive committee. Being a part of ExCom member, you get an opportunity to attend the group discussions. You get to learn how to take collective decisions and how to implement them. So fellow WMCNs, if you want to polish your communication skill, if you want to polish your leadership skill, 396-22048 is my number. Give me a call and take a part, join next year's XCOM. And Toastmasters from Kuwait, you can also do so. If you want to take part and become an XCOM member for your club for the next time, please call DTM Ram. And dear guests, if you have a desire of becoming a better communicator, join Toastmasters. Timur, over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster, yes, for inspiring us to look around, to be awakened. Thank you so much once again. Moving on, our next speech, the last speech will be evaluated by DTM Sankida Animolam. She joined Toastmaster in 2015, member of 5 clubs. She has been the president and area director and has won many awards. She is joining us from Penang, Malaysia. She says she feels magnificent strength and power when she dares to be vulnerable. Whatever happens, she will face it. She fears no one, just herself. DTM Sankida Animolam, can we hear from you?
Thank you, Toastmaster Ponambalam. You can just hear from me, but if I on my camera, the line will drop. Well, I think I have said enough that might scare some people. What she means by she fears no one. Well, I think that's me actually. I don't think so. I have fear for anything or anyone, but just myself. I might do some crazy, silly things. That's all. So I have to be in control all the time. Okay, I don't want to scare anymore. Back to you, Toastmaster Ponambal.
Can you read out the criteria for the next speech?
Okay, I'll read the purpose statement for Toastmaster Sugumaran. Are you here?
Yes, ma'am, I'm here. Good evening, everybody.
All right. The purpose of this project is for the member to practice using a story within a speech or giving a speech that is a story. Time 5 to 7 minutes.
Thank you, DTM Sankida Animolam. Our next man in the arena who has claimed all rights to give constructive feedback for the growth of the members, for the growth of the club. He has earned it by daring to be vulnerable in every aspect of Toastmastering. He was the best VPPR of the year, represented us in the division level, and much more. Put your hands together to our next speaker, Toastmaster Sukumar Swaminathan, with his speech title, We, the Battling Brand Lords. We, the Battling Brand Lords, Toastmaster Sukumar Swaminathan.
Thank you for the kind introduction, Toastmaster Ponambalam. You always give everyone more than what they deserve. I hope I'm loud and clear, audible.
Yeah, loud, audible, visible, very clear.
Thank you. Life has this beautiful way of throwing curved balls at us. But it is for us who would want to be awakened, who want to be vulnerable, to persist in those situations, hang on there, and find that life also offers solutions in those tried and tested and testing moments. Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters, distinguished guests, and my dear friends, Very early in my adult life, way back in 2001, I experienced this at the Week of Wonders. WOW. Wow. Was a pinnacle event, a management festival welcoming the freshmen and women at the PSG Institute of Management. Battling Brand Lords was the crowning event, which also spanned for the entire length of 7 days at the Week of Wonders. The PSG Institute of Management was renowned for its MBA program, and students, boys and girls from all over the country, came in and did their MBA program. They also had a renowned master's program in international business, which was equally popular. On the sidelines, there was a PG diploma program in advertising and communication that was also offered by the institute. Now, the joke that goes around in the campus is all those girls who want to postpone their marriage by a year, and all those boys who have rarely succeeded till now are the ones who would go on to adopt the advertising and communications program. How I landed there is a different story for a different day. Battling Brand Lords was a 7-day event which had a very simple concept. Every year, there would be a product category that would be given, and the teams would battle against each other and develop that product category into a business. And once they develop that into a business, they showcase that business and the best team wins. So we novices from advertising and communication who were supposedly time passes, who have never in the history of PSG Institute of Management made anything that was more than desirable, competed with the elite MBAs and the MPIB teams for this contest. The product category for the year was lipsticks. Interesting, isn't it? So we launched Ice and Spice. The two boys and the two girls of advertising and communication came up with this brand, developed some props, and we set up shop. Easy. But as we started the day and the day progressed, right on the first day, we realized that this is not just about setting a shop and doing a jingle and doing a few hairy-merry things and moving on. The visitors who came to the stall were peers, seniors, faculty members, professors, head of departments, and they started bombarding us with questions saying, what is the vision of your business? What is the mission statement? How are the 4 P's of your business built? How is your sustainability program? Where is your manufacturing facilities and how are you going to break even? How is your corporate sustainability program being developed? We were bamboozled. We, true to our reputation, staggered in answering any of those questions. It was like Shark Tank, if you know what I mean. And added to that, in these group of visitors, we had undercover markers who would come in and evaluate our responses to questions and how we are presenting the product. And if that was not enough, these guys would also come the next day and look at if we took the feedback from the previous day and improvised that and made our business plan better. And if that was not enough, we had in the middle of the program, in the contest, we had to go to an open house audience in an auditorium where we would be shot with questions and we had to defend our business case. And if that was not enough, we had to present our case formally to an internal panel of distinguished professors and defend our brand and our business. And finally, if all of this was not enough, we had to present it to a panel of experts from the industry. Isn't it Shark Tank? On day one, we went low on motivation and we were about to shut shop, and we were dejected. The girls wanted to leave home, and we had this tall, lanky guy standing for quite some time. And he came to us saying, guys, I've been seeing you for quite a while. If you want to make anything out of this contest, then read Philip Kotler. We let the girls go. Me and Babu, my friend, went to the librarian, went to the 7th floor, and then we took Philip Kotler, and it was this 900-page book, the 9th edition. And we said, let's see what we can make out of it. And then as we went home, and true to any college student's life, we stopped by the bar, the wine shop, and bought a bottle of whiskey. And then we went to the room, started opening the page. Between guzzling whiskey and reading Philip Kotler, we went straight 7 hours into it, and we read almost 700 pages. And it worked. It worked. The next very day, we started improving on what we had to say, how we had to present the case. Slowly but surely, we went on conquering each and every step. And to everyone's surprise, in the history of PSG Institute of Management, we were crowned the battling brand lords. Friends, life puts curveballs and throws it on everybody. It's up to us as to how we learn, adapt, be vulnerable, be awakened, and accept the challenges, persist, and be the battling brand lords that we are in life. Back to you, Mr. T. Modi.
Whether it's a speech or an action, you are always an inspiration to us, Master Sukumar. Thank you so much for this wonderful speech and sharing your experience. Moving on, that ends our educational section. Can I request our VPPR Toastmaster Prabodha to take the photo of our meeting?
Yes, for the photo, I would request all to switch on your cameras and be vulnerable.
Be yourself.
Toastmaster Rajeshwari, please. Pragati. Great. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Yes. 1 second, please. Just a minute. Thank you. And back to TMOD.
Thank you, Toastmaster Prabodha. Our next session will break the second myth of vulnerability. The second myth is, I don't do vulnerability. Though I mentioned it before, I don't do vulnerability. It's a myth. Because if we are alive, we are vulnerable. We cannot live a life without being vulnerable. We can't opt out of the uncertainty of life, the risk, the emotional exposure that is woven through our daily experience. So life is vulnerable. Our next session does not give us the choice of not being vulnerable. And that's the table topics session. If you are in the meeting, you are always vulnerable to be called as a speaker. So don't hold yourself back. Let us know who you really are. To help you with that, we have an energetic and always daring Toastmaster Kiran Poitaya as the table topic master. Put your hands together in welcoming Toastmaster Kiran. Over to you, Toastmaster Kiran.
Toastmaster Ponnambalam. After a brief gap, like I'm back in. Nice to see you all. For the benefit of guests, Table topic is a segment where like we'll be giving a topic and the people will be given an option to speak impromptu for a duration of 2 to 3 minutes. So with that note, I will kickstart this week's session. And what I'm going to share is that like I'll be sharing the quote from the favorite book, What Our TMOD Has Told. After sharing the quote, I would ask one of the speaker to elaborate more on that. Let me share my screen. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yeah, we can see us.
Yes.
The first quote is, "Being vulnerable is a risk we have to take if we want to experience the connection." Staying vulnerable is a risk we have to take if we want to experience the connection. I would like to invite DTM Ramkumar to speak on this particular topic.
Fellow Toastmasters, distinguished members, vulnerability, I consider this as a improving factor. I know I'm coming from the resilient factor as well. Reliable, resourceful, and helpful, like you Toastmasters. Having the elements of sudden, surprise, and unknown, these are the elements in the crisis situation. Imagine one day, I went to the airport in a hurry to catch the flight on time. But what happened? CISF, Central Industrial Security Force, the people who are guarding the entire Air Force, they stopped me, asked me for what? I had the passport, but they did not have the virtual ticket, because during the COVID time, we all needed a printed copy of the digital version. Now, where do I get the digital printing done? They said, show in your mobile your copy, a printed one. They will allow you all this happening. And it happens without ticket agents, because they want the tickets to be sold as quickly as possible. Risk factor here, what I'm talking about. Do you know what the risk factor? Knowing things and unknowing things. What I learned from that is very evident is we have to take what we have to take. We have to experience what we have to experience. All in all, staying vulnerable, being known about the risk that will come after you, not having a ticket or having a ticket. We need to follow the etiquette and the rules set by the transportation industry. That awakened me to know what is important in the airport. It's not just the passport, but the rules are the rules which we all need to follow. Over to Toastmaster, Topic Master. Thank you.
Thank you, DTM Ramkumar, for a great speech. The next quote is, "Numb the dark and you numb the light." Numb the dark and you numb the light. I would like to invite Toastmaster Raghu to speak on this particular quote.
Thank you, Table Topic Master. Could you please repeat the topic, please?
Oh, I didn't share the topic. Sorry,
No.
my bad. Yeah. Can you see? It's numb the dark and you numb the light.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Table topic master and fellow Toastmasters. Good evening to one and all. The great leaders are not the strongest. They are the ones who are the honest about their weakness. So I think this is more apt for today's theme, which is vulnerability. And actually coming to your topic of numb the dark, my opinion, when we are at vulnerability, and we will be having, we will not be there to lead. We'll be really facing problem or to even face the challenges in the life by considering the vulnerability. Like Tim Modi mentioned, I was reading the book of the Brené Brown, Dare to Lead. Really, where she was mentioning about going from darkness to light, we need to face challenges. And for that, we need to rumbling with vulnerability, where we will not be facing the, we will be able to face the challenges with a dareness. For example, before, when we joined with the Toastmasters, I joined because of to face vulnerability related to public speaking. I used to fear even for the prepared speeches, and for table topics means I'm more vulnerable. But now with practice and consistency, and now I'm very comfortable on the prepared speeches, and also I'm improving on the table topics with practice. I think this is the one of the important when you're in the learning stage or when you want to improve, and which is the great platform is in your Toastmasters, and to practice our communication leadership skills. As I mentioned in the WhatsApp group also, so we need to be authentic ourselves and to face challenges, to move from dark to light. And over to you, table topic master. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ravi, for an awakening speech. Indeed, it was truly inspirational and could see the changes in the table topic speech as well. So the next topic for table topic is let me share the screen once again. This is the last quote. Says, courage starts with showing up and letting ourselves seen. I repeat, courage starts with showing up and let ourselves seen. I would like to invite guest Parminder to comment on this particular quote. Over to you, Parminder.
Thank you, table topic master. Can you please repeat the topic? I just
Sure. I'll flash as well. Can you see the topic? Yeah, courage starts with showing up and letting ourselves seen.
Okay, so I have understood this topic, and basically it means that you cannot win any war without coming in front of the army. So you have to lead the army, and then only you can win the battle. So if in the crowd you are falling behind and you have that courage to inspire the other people, then you must take that opportunity to come forward and inspire the whole army, so that we can win that war and the overall objective of the situation can be achieved. So this is like coming forward and achieving what is required in the situation. Over to the table topic master.
Thank you, guest Parminder, for a great start. That was really an awesome start.
Thank you very much.
Session, yeah. Due to the time constraint, I won't be able to take any other topic, any other contest, any other participant. So by that, I'll be concluding the table topic. You, Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Karan, for bringing up a wonderful topic which is related to the theme. And the one which I really liked was when you numb the dark, you numb the light, which is I can closely relate to my personal experiences as well, because the moment, I don't know how many of us do this, we normally try not to experience our emotions fully. Whenever we are sad, we try not to experience it. We suppress it, or we don't, the language now everybody uses, I don't process that emotion. This is something which we really listen to it often. I don't process because I don't want to deal with it. So most of the time we cover our emotions. So when we try to numb our negative emotions, definitely that becomes a habit, and we tend to numb our happiness also. And that is actually a disorder where people are not able to experience even positive emotions in our life. Thank you for bringing up the topic. Moving on, let's move to our business session. Let me welcome our dear President, Toastmaster Abdul Rahman, to conduct the business session. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Ponnambalam. Welcome to business session. First of all, before I start the business session, I would like to announce that today is the birthday of our very important member of this club, who is an executive committee officer as well. And he is from Andhra, and he's been serving WMC Toastmasters Club for the last 5 to 6 years. He's a treasurer in our executive committee, and he is working in a multinational organization and company in a very high profile position. He is supposed to leave for a personal commitment within 5 minutes. So I just would like to take this time. Let us all congratulate and wish our dear treasurer Toastmaster Rav Kumar his birthday.
Thank you so much.
Happy
birthday to you.
Thank you to all. Thank you so much.
Happy
birthday to you. Many
birthday.
happy returns of the day. God
Thank
bless
you so much.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Thank you for all WMC family as well as Elite Toastmasters family.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.
May you live long. God bless you, dear. Thank you.
I would like to echo the words of DTM Ram Kumar. May you live long, happy and healthy. And thank you for staying. Well, now, before I ask our secretary to read the minutes, I would request our VPPR, Toastmaster Prabodha, because he's been working day and night tirelessly to bring out our magazine for this year, which is named Eloquence. This WMC magazine since more than 15 years. So he is going to unveil quickly the magazine in a bird's eye view, and then later he is going to circulate among all members. Of course, it will be shared with our visiting club members as well. So this contains a lot of articles, a lot of rich content. And as I mentioned, the VPPR has worked very hard for this. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Prabodha. Over to you.
Thank you so much, President. And thank you, WMC members. Because of you, this eloquence is successful today. And thank you from bottom of my heart for that. This is vulnerability. Let me share the eloquence number 64. Is it visible to everyone?
Yes.
So the eloquence theme is my most favorite personality. And all of these articles, most of them are related to particular to this theme. The President's Desk, the power of GPS, then comes to our BP Educations, gratitude. Please go through. Next coming from your BP Public Relations, a little bit about educational update, District 20, our pathway, who are completed all these pathways. So this is coming from District 20. Congratulations. Our last contest, annual clock contest highlights. area contest highlights, then our division contest highlights. Members update, those who joined in 1st of April, happy Members Day. And a new joinee, happy Toastmastering. Next, come to the picture. You will come to know world champion speakers list from this eloquence since 1938 to till date. All the world champions are mentioned from name and they are from which area. Then from our WMC Gabel's Corner, we have WMC Gabel Club President, Toastmaster Nathan. Please go through a beautiful topic about his table topic. Perspectives. From DTM Rekha, my father, not just a father. Go through it, an emotional and a beautiful article. Then it comes to attitude from Toastmaster Sukumar. This is from a sales and marketing point of view in a business. Attitude changes things. Then comes Toastmaster Yasodhan. My dad is my home page. And Toastmaster Punambalam. Not one, but many. That's how he learned. He is like a awakening person. Then it comes to our Toastmaster, our BP Education, Toastmaster Obin, again, service to humankind. And next, Toastmaster Norman Das, how to live life. Look at Mr. Oja, his personal experience. Please go through it. In reflection section, our president give this article about our Dr. Babu, our one founder member of WMC Club. Please read and you'll come to know. Then some Toastmaster tips. 10 ways how effective body language can help you speak better. Very good. You can go through it, all these points. Then it comes to club election, which will come next month. Then those are some points from our District 20 for everyone to go through. Last meeting glimpse. Then today, yes, birthday. Toastmaster Raghu, happy birthday. Thank you. And this designer is myself, contributor our WMC family, the feature contributor and proofreading by our president, Toastmaster Abdul Rai. Thank you, and back to president.
Thank you very
I'll
much.
share the link in this chat. Please download or read directly, no problem.
Thank you very much. Did you all like the magazine? Yes, can we say congrats VPPR, all of us? Congrats VPPR.
Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you.
Congrats, great job.
Thank you.
Super,
Very,
super.
very good job. Super job.
Yeah, great job VPPR, because the spectacular achievement, as they say, all spectacular achievements is preceded by unspectacular preparation. And that's what he has done. So before I ask Rajeshwari to read the minutes, I think we are getting a little late. So with the consent of DTM Ram and Ovin, can we extend, can we pass a resolution to extend for 20 minutes or 15 minutes? What do you think?
I guess we require minimum 20 minutes, so it's better to go with 20 minutes.
20 minutes, right.
Yeah.
I think DTM Ram is not here. Oh, okay, no problem. So can
The general evaluator, we can ask.
Yeah, general evaluator, yeah, a general evaluator, we are going to extend for by 20 minutes.
We are already late by 30 minutes.
Yeah. So 20 minutes.
Better to go with 30 minutes. In this
30 minutes, we are already late.
Yeah, okay, we'll go ahead with 30 minutes, so we'll be fine with that, I guess. Yeah, we'll try to complete it beforehand, but let's go for 30 minutes in this case. Yeah.
Perfect. Can somebody propose? Toastmaster Yashodan, can somebody to second? Toastmaster Ovin. Okay, thank you very much. Meeting is extended up to 7 o'clock. Now, Toastmaster Rajeshwari, our secretary, can we quickly read the minutes, please, of last meeting? Rajeshwari?
Okay, we'll ask.
Yeah. Okay, fine. We'll come back to that. And Toastmaster Pannambalam, VP membership, anything to report from your side?
Thank you, President. I would like to use this opportunity to thank everybody for bringing in guests, and it's a wonderful opportunity to have a joint meeting. This expands our learning experiences beyond our club. And I would appreciate and request everybody to bring in more guests so that we can enrich our learning experience. Thank you so much, and over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you very much. Members, yes, it's very important. And Parminder Singh, who is a guest, I really liked impressive way, the way he commented in table topics. And also, Parminder ji, I'm sorry, I did not share with you the background, but still you managed to get somewhere and you put something. That is wonderful, really. Great, and we look forward to seeing you in the physical meeting on May 6th in Crown Plaza. I will send an invitation. Now, VP Education, over to you, sir.
Hello, good evening once again. From VP Education desk, there is nothing much to specify now. We are on track with the DCP points. Thanks to all our members. And secondly, the next meeting will be an offline meeting. We are going to offline after 2 years. Hooray! Finally, we'll be an offline meeting, and we'll look forward to see all of you there personally in person, because that's a different feeling. We all know in person is always a beautiful moment to meet and greet each other than sitting behind the screens. And this meeting will be pioneered by one of our three Murtis. It's Toastmaster Ganapatiji, our ex-president, will be the TMOD of this particular meeting. Look forward to it. Back to you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. We'll send a circular regarding the physical meetings and the fee structure and everything. Already we shared, but still as a reminder, we'll send. And I see the happiest person about physical meeting is our immediate past president, Yashodan. He's all smiles. Anyway, as regards the minutes, can we ask Rajeshwari to read the minutes, please, our secretary?
Hi. Hello, I'm audible?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, President. Minutes of meeting 437 held on 8th April 2022. Sergeant at Arms Toastmaster Rajeshwari Chauhan welcomed the House at 4 p.m. with warm greetings and introduced the President Toastmaster Abdul Rahim. Meeting was called to order. The theme of the meeting was the power of positive thinking. Grammarian Toastmaster Ganapati Narayanan introduced the word of the day, trim, and explained its meaning and usage and encouraged all speakers to use the word in its proper content. President, in his address, underscored the importance of positive attitude for success in life. He also added that we must also be practical and realistic.
As regards agenda approval, VP Education, Toastmaster Owen Crasta, mentioned that Toastmaster Jeffrey Ibrahim, who was assigned to deliver a project speech, has apologized due to unavoidable reasons. After the agenda approval, President then introduced the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Pragati Kumar, as a young and energetic Toastmaster who is donning the mantle of Master of Ceremonies for the first time. Our counter Toastmaster Rajeshwari Chauhan and timer Toastmaster Noman Das then explained their roles in the most complete manners. In the education session, Toastmaster Abdul Rahim and Toastmaster Mark Inzam delivered their Pathways speech project evaluated by Toastmaster Yashodan Abhyankar and Toastmaster Pulambalam Tirumallai, respectively. After a photo shoot by VPPR Toastmaster Prabodha Sarangi, Visiting Area Director DTM Haji Jasim delivered a short address commending the club for its outstanding achievements. Thereupon, DTM Manoj Pandey took control as table topic master to conduct an entertaining impromptu session. The commentators were Toastmaster Owen Crasta, Toastmaster Ganapati Narayanan, Toastmaster Jeffrey Ibrahim, Toastmaster Prabodha Sarangi, Toastmaster Rajeshwari Chauhan, Toastmaster Abdul Rahim. Business session was conducted wherein minutes of previous meeting was read and approved. Committee officers reported briefly on their duties. VPPR Prabodha Sarangi announced that club magazine Eloquence will be released in the next meeting on April 22. VP Education Owen Crasta announced that physical meetings are scheduled to be resumed starting May 6, 2022, meeting at the Crown Plaza Hotel. Guest General evaluated DTM Rufus Pinto, then conducted a detailed evaluation of the meeting, inviting reports from individual evaluators, timer, accounter, and grammarian. After brief guest feedback, results were announced. Best Speaker, Toastmaster Mark Inzam and Toastmaster Abdul Rahim. Best Evaluator, Toastmaster Yashodan Abhyankar. Best of Take, Toastmaster Rajeshwari Chauhan as accounter. Best of TTG, Toastmaster Pragati Kumar as TMOD. Best Table Topics, Commentator, Toastmaster Ganapati Narayanan. Total attendance, 21. Members 18, guest 3. Meeting was adjourned at 6:28 p.m. Back to you, Toastmaster Abdul. I forgot them.
Thank
President.
you very much, Rajesh.
Sorry.
Thank you very much. Any comments on the minutes before we approve? I think no. So let us propose the minutes. Can somebody propose it to approve? Quickly, please. Okay, Toastmaster Owen. Can somebody second?
Quick.
Okay, Toastmaster. Yeah. Who is going to second? Yeah, Toastmaster Yashodan and Toastmaster Sukumar. Well, that is all about the business session. Anything you would like to comment before we close the business session? Anything? The forum is open to the members. Okay, fine. I think VPPR will send also the magazine to our district because there is a PR award for best magazine. So I'm sure this will win the best magazine award. Sukumar is already clapping because he issued 12 magazines last year as a VPPR. Anyway, so with that, I think DTM Manoj or DTM Ramkumar was asking the modus operandi. Now, what the TMOD will do is he will hand the control to DTM Ramkumar to adjourn the meeting. And of course, DTM Ramkumar will have a short address and feedback and everything. And during general evaluation session, at the end of general evaluation session, the VPPR will send the ballots for voting. So you can vote, and the VPPR will announce the results during the president's address. So that's how it goes. So I hope it is clear. So with that business session, let's close the business session and let's welcome our Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Panambala.
Thank you, President, for the crisp and clear business session. To shake up the energy, the serious energy of a business meeting, and to prepare ourselves for a serious general evaluation, let me share something little humorous. I'm just trying something humorous because humor doesn't come to me naturally. So I have so many humor camps in front of me. So let me just try to be vulnerable. And let me use this opportunity to break the third myth about vulnerability, that is oversharing. Is oversharing is vulnerable? Does oversharing comes under daring to be vulnerable? Do you think oversharing is being vulnerable? Okay, let me share you an example. After I got married and before my wife came to my city, what I did is I told her, my life is an open book. And I shared everything, and they said, I have nothing to hide you in front of you. So this sharing, do you think that it is an act of vulnerability, or is it the fear of being caught at a later stage, and I don't want to be in a vulnerable situation where I am going to be questioned? So that reminds me that always vulnerability, oversharing is not vulnerability. So if somebody is oversharing something to you, don't think that he is natural and he's being yourself, and it's an anticipatory bail of not being vulnerable. Why it has worked for me is because what happened is when I took my wife to a nearby photocopy shop near to my college, that person looked at my wife and said, I knew that you both will get married. And she looked at me and smiled. So that's the time I understood the value of being vulnerable in advance. So it's a lesson which we can take. And so the question, what the author points out at this point is, when you're vulnerable, ask a question. What is the intention behind being vulnerable? Do you have a personal motive before you are being yourself? If you are having a vested interest or any specific motive, then that is not vulnerability. It is manipulation. So moving on to our serious session of general evaluation. Our general evaluator for today is a financial advisor, real estate venture promoter, and a distributor of kitchen appliances by profession. Having accomplished a lot of achievements and accolades in his 13 years of Toastmastering, he continues to be a constant learner of new things. That was only a small part of today's general evaluator's profile. I will let his action speak than my words. Join me in welcoming Toastmaster Anandadam Murali Manohar as our general evaluator. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the Day. Please give a big applause to our Toastmaster of the Day, Pannambalam Thirumalai. We will go directly into the evaluation session. For the benefit of all the guests, please note this is the most important session where we try to learn something and see how better we can do in our next speeches. The timing for this is 3 minutes. At the end of 2 minutes, we will show the green color. At the end of 2 minutes, 30 seconds, we will have yellow color. And at the end of 3 minutes, we will have red color shown. And there will be 30 seconds grace period for qualifying for the voting. Our first speaker is Toastmaster Jeffrey Abraham, vegetarian or non-vegetarian. You will know better from his evaluator, Toastmaster Abdul Rahim. Over to you, Toastmaster Abdul Rahim.
Honorable General Evaluator, may I request the time taken by the speaker?
This is what I want to know. Done by the, I wanted to mention that in this thing. Okay.
Yeah, this The speaker, first speaker, Jeffrey Abraham, Toastmaster Jeffrey Abraham, took 9 minutes, 32 seconds.
You can give all.
You can give for everyone.
For everyone.
So the timer report for the prepared sessions is Toastmaster Jeffrey Abraham took 9 minutes, 32 seconds. Toastmaster Yashodan Abhyankar took 6 minutes, 35 seconds. Toastmaster Sukumar Swaminathan took 7 minutes, 55 seconds. So only Yashodan Abhyankar was within the time. That is a timer report for prepared sessions.
Yeah,
and table topic
the
session.
table topics, yeah.
DTM Ramkumar, 2 minutes, 28 seconds. Toastmaster Raghu, 2 minutes, 15 seconds. Parminder Singh guest, 45 seconds. So DTM Ramkumar and Toastmaster Raghu are within the time. Back to the Toastmaster, General Evaluator.
Okay, thank you. Over to you, Evaluator number 1, Toastmaster Abdul Rahim.
I use this oil. As you can see, it's an olive oil. Now I need to check with our speaker whether it is really good for me. That's why I will do later. Okay. General Evaluator, my dear fellow Toastmasters, most honored guests. The objective for our speaker was, as you remember, to learn the methods of research and deliver a well-defined, well-organized, well-practiced speech. And to his credit, Toastmaster Jeffrey, that's what exactly he has done today. Remember, it is not searching, it is researching. Researching means coming up with new knowledge, with analysis and investigation and examination. Toastmaster Jeffrey started with those age-old debate, veg or non-veg, and then went on to the exhaustive body of the speech, where he had a lot of research, a lot of data, statistics, numbers. I'm sure he has spent a lot of time preparing for this speech. And then finally, ending with a message, a profound message, where he doesn't take any role or any side, and he just comes up with a neutral side, saying that eat less, live more. A profound message for anybody. Now, as far as this objective of this project goes, I think Toastmaster Jeffrey has done justice to the role, because he, as I mentioned, it has been a well-researched. He has come up with a lot of ideas, and he has shown us slides, relevant slides. And it's not easy to come up with so much material and gathering them and presenting them in a very cohesive manner. Well, now, Toastmaster Jeffrey, how can we improve this speech further? Well, when you talk about research, when you talk about data, statistics, numbers, as you might have seen our corporate meetings in the office, it can be downright boring, right? But to the speaker's credit, it was not boring, it was interesting. But to make it even better, how can we do it? Even those people among us today who want to present such speeches, how can we do it better? There are 3 strategies. How can we make such speeches interesting and exciting for the audience? Number 1, engaging the audience with questions. Probably at the beginning, Toastmaster Jeffrey could have asked, what kind of oil do you use? Can anybody say? So 1 to 2 or 3 people would respond. That's the way you get the audience involvement. Number 2, adding a personal touch. The whole narrative was missing the personal element. Of course, it was a research project, but still adding a personal story, a personal touch could elevate the speech to a next level. For example, the oil he is using or his wife is using, the friction between husband and wife can add a lot of humor and a lot of spice to the speech. Overall, a great speech. As a motivational speaker Brian Tracy said, if you avoid 4 foods from your diet, you will live 10 years longer. Salt, sugar, flour, and oil. Well done, Jeffrey. Good luck, and over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much. Our second speaker is Toastmaster Yashodan Abhyankar, and I will request Toastmaster Murli Udyakant to give his evaluation.
Good evening. I hope you all can hear me. English language today is widely used worldwide, and we are not native speakers of English or we don't speak English that often, though we are one of those countries where English is widely spoken and has the highest number. And most of us, by default, have this habit of first translating everything in our own language and then putting it across in English. And that is exactly what our speaker today mentioned. And it was quite open. He was quite open and daring about confirming and confessing this act in front of all of us. That was something remarkable. As a speech required to talk about mentoring or being mentored in the Toastmaster fraternity and also outside. That was the purpose of the speech. And I think the speaker explained this part very well. He mentioned about his first mentor, his wife. Most married people would agree to that. And I like the way he also brought in his daughter, because this is something that most of us with children in today's situation end up doing, because they seem to be having more information through whatever source, which surprises all of us. They are in a better position to give out their thought view because they have no prejudice in what they say. So I think the Toastmaster using his wife and daughter outside the Toastmaster fraternity was an excellent way of presenting how he was mentored by these two people. And also how he was mentored by the people in the Toastmaster family, where he brought in names of Toastmaster Rekha, Bilal, how they helped them, how they helped him in his speech. And what is the takeaway that I learned from this is, if you want to learn and improve yourself, you have to set aside your ego and accept the suggestions, recommendations, and teachings or exposure from whichever source that you get this information. That was something that I learned from the speech, which I would like to thank Toastmaster Yashodhan on this. As a speaker, you are very confident. Your transition was smooth. Usage of space within this limited camera space that you had, you used it pretty well. Your voice modulation was also excellent. So this is all given. But I felt, being a humorous king, you just use humor only in the first part. Though the speech is engaging humor, I know it is a little, I don't know how you were going to marry these two into this topic, but I felt you should have added humor wherever possible, just to make the speech a little more lively and more encouraging. That's all I have to say about the speech. And excellent. Move forward. All the best. Back to you.
Thank you very much. The time now is almost 11:21 in Malaysia. Still, she is with us, distinguished Toastmaster Sangeeta Animolam, who will be evaluating Toastmaster Sukumar Swaminathan. Are you there?
Thank you, General Evaluator, DTM Manohar. Okay, Toastmaster Sukumaran. Okay, it's showing red there, timer.
Timer, can you bring that timing to ordinary 0? Yes, over to you,
All right.
DTM Sangeeta.
Thank you, sir. All right. Hello, everyone. I will share the evaluation from my point of view, what I have heard and what I've seen and what I liked and what I feel that he can work on. So Toastmaster Sukumaran, for a good storyteller, they will be able to open with a bang, grab the audience attention, structure the plot well, give life to the characters involved in the story, and to engage the audience, to connect emotionally. They will have add-ons, the voice, the speed, the body language. That's how you narrated the story very well. As a dynamic leader, I was trying to find how am I supposed to evaluate you, because the very beginning itself, you started with a bang. Okay, there was a message in your story. You narrated it so well. the frame that I have mentioned just now, the plot, the emotions, the body language, the voice, everything was there. And the content, you have the introduction, you have the main points, you have elaborations, examples, and the good choice of words. Okay, that there's no doubt that you are a good speaker. Now, you started off with 2001. Wow factor. And then you continued with the MBA program, advertising program, and all that. So for people who don't really know very well, they might be wondering, like, what is this? Could be new to us, people like me. But of course, you put it in a simple manner that we understood. Okay, first it was MBA, and then here comes the advertising program, and you were in it, and you narrated how you came into the picture after the introduction. And then you spoke about the vision, mission, questions, how questions that actually, brought some kind of challenges to you. So the plot was going so well, you narrated so well. And then there was this conclusion with also a message: accept the challenge. So for me, as a storyteller, a story in the speech, you really achieved the objective. Okay, I'm impressed with the way you narrated the story. It was like watching KGF chapter 2, soft and soothing voice, and the plot, everything very clear. Now, for such a dynamic person like you, narrated the story and delivered it so well, how could you have that? Like from my I could only see two things. Maybe the wow factor will be the tone. Okay, the tone. You have good intonation, you have the speed and all that. Maybe a different tone when you move on from one point to another point, when the transition. Okay, so we will have different points. Or maybe when you want to express something to engage the audience emotionally, you want to touch their personal level, the emotions, maybe you can work on that. And maybe you can add on humor. Okay, so that will make the speech really awesome. So that's all from me. Hope it really helps you. Congratulations, TM Sugumaran, and back to you, DTM Manavar.
Thank you, DTM Sangeeta. We will relieve our timer if we can announce the timing report, because I know he has to join in another meeting. Even I have to join after. I will do it after GE.
Yeah, I have posted the evaluation timings.
Yes.
You can see that.
Evaluation timing. Abdul Rahman took 3 minutes. Murali took 3 minutes 22 seconds. Sangeeta took 3 minutes 20 seconds. Unfortunately, all are qualified, so we need to have a voting for that.
Thank you very much. And I believe it was a very good meeting, a very excellent meeting. I enjoyed all the proceedings, the prepared speeches, table topics, everything, and also particularly the power of vulnerability, the theme of the meeting. And I would like to thank every one of you for making this meeting very interesting. Thank you very much.
DTM Prabhakar.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for your
Welcome.
presence. Area Director.
DTM Prabhakar is my twin brother, by the way.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay. Now I'm going to go against the rule. So I'm going to ask the accounter, Norman Das, to give his report. And finally, we will have the grammarian report. Over to you.
Good evening to all once again. Generally, even I also take the feedback from my wife, just like how Toastmaster Yash is doing. And I told her that today I'll be the accounter. So she told me, first of all, tell me who will be counting your hours. So the thing is, over here, we tend to make mistakes over here. But in Toastmasters, we are here to learn and how we can eliminate or how we can reduce it. We can't eliminate totally, but how we can reduce it. So I will be just telling the names of the people and the repetitions of words and hours. Toastmaster Maya, couple of hours were there. DTM Ram, and word was repeated. Toastmaster Rahim, well, right word. Punambalam, Toastmaster Prabhakar one time, Toastmaster Jeffrey took twice, Toastmaster Raghu 3 times, Parminder, 2 times, Murli 2 times, Toastmaster Sangeeta 3 times, So this was the crisp report from my side. Over to you, TM ODM.
Can you be very clear which Murlis took? We have 2 Murlis.
This is the evaluator Murli.
Very good. Thank you. Welcome back to our Distinguished Toastmaster, Dr. Babu Ramachandran. Finally, to awaken us with a beautiful report, let me request my colleague, Area Director Maya Sharma, to give a report.
Good evening, all, once again. I was happy to know that the word of the day was used by most of the speakers today. DTM Annadatta Murli, DTM Ram, Toastmaster Abdul Rahim, DTM Prabhakar, Dr. Babu Ramchandran, Toastmaster Yashodan, Toastmaster Ponnambalam, TM Sukumaran, and TM Kiran. All of you used the word of the day once. Coming to some of the notable words and quotes that I have noted down, starting with the President Toastmaster Abdul Rahim. His vocabulary included some beautiful words and phrases like being himself, be yourself, gem of a person, has a golden art, age-old debate, downright boring, adding a personal touch. And he also went on to mention quotes like, let go of what you are supposed to be and embrace what we are. Connection is life, disconnection is death. Coming to TMOD Toastmaster Ponnambalam, well, I should say that he was a dictionary by himself. I had allotted 1 page for each speaker, but even 2 pages were not sufficient for him. But whatever I have noted down, I'll just mention. Some of the beautiful words and phrases that he mentioned are an enjoyable and learning experience, pillar of support, pitfalls, myths, credibility, and some of the sentences that he went on to say are TMs eat vulnerability for breakfast. I hate uncertainty. I don't try new recipes, new things. My travels are planned point to point. Oh, I am not alone. My life is an open book. Toastmaster Pragati said, I stand up for what I believe in. I am not perfect. I am 100% me, never anything less. Toastmaster Prabhakar said, it's fine. Toastmaster Jeffrey, the first speaker, said, heightened state of vulnerability. COVID sort of brought things crashing down. Fear of failure of loved ones. Correlation need not be causation. I hope I heard that right. Throw you out of the window. Some of the beautiful words in his vocabulary were nuances, consensus, chronic, hypertension, epidemiology, common enemy, exponentially, correlation, and lifestyle diseases. Toastmaster Yashodan had some beautiful words too in his vocabulary, like enhancing, confess, vernacular accent, forum, polish. And some of the sentences that he quoted were, earlier I used to hate English, now I write my speeches in English. I gave her the honor of becoming my mentor. I accidentally attended a TM meeting. Come out from the character. There is something to learn from everybody, the desire to excel. Toastmaster Sukumaran had some notable words in his vocabulary like pinnacle event. Wow, it stood for Week of Wonders. Battling landlords. Bamboozled. Shark Tank. Undercover markers. And then some of the beautiful sentences that I made a note of, rather phrases or sentences, tried and tested contesting moments. How I landed there is a different story for a different day. How are the 4 P's of your business built? How are you going to break even? Short with questions. DTM Ramkumar had some wonderful words in his vocabulary like resilient, resourceful, and risk factor. Toastmaster Raghu used the words rumbling, great platform. And DTM Sangeeta said, started with a bang and wow factor. That is the report from me. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much. When are we going to do the voting?
We can do it now, I think. If you can do it now.
I want to ask actually, there are two timed disqualification and prepared speech. Shall I include or?
No. Time, no. For prepared speech, there is automatically a winner. Only table topics and evaluation.
Okay, give me some time.
Just to like what usually we do is like we don't consider time even.
Yeah, exactly.
For the voting.
You do whatever you do in your as per your club requirement. I will now give the my report because of the we are already late by 33 minutes. Okay. You are Murli Manohar. I'm going to be giving my general evaluation report. I don't know how many of you may appreciate having me next time in your club as a general evaluator, but however, in the interest of this session, I'm giving out an opinion with which, if you would like to change, it can make a better meeting for us. Now, I'm going to be evaluating your speech here as a LOL. What is LOL? What I loved it, and what I want to give you the opportunity, and what are the better learnings we can do out of this report. LOL, first love. What are the things you excelled at? First of all, great introduction by the president, and great theme and excellent introduction by TMOD on the theme. Grammarian using the word of the day on the virtual background. That is fantastic. It was the awakening movement. Excellent speeches and great evaluations. Table topic session. Wow. Even with 3 topics, it made a great impact. Now, the topics were given as per the Toastmaster requirement and then asked for a volunteering. So let me request everybody to give a big applause to our table topics master. Now, what is WO? That is the next one is, are you able to see me here? The club magazine, fantastic club magazine, a great work by our moderator and my friend from Odisha, Dada. Namaskar.
Thank you.
Now is the next one is the opportunities where you may want to work on. First thing is an introduction by Toastmaster for the benefit of guests would have been better because we have one person, Papaji, and even if we don't have any guest, it would be customary. It is nice to introduce everyone about what is Toastmaster is. And just for information, as I mentioned, I am the VP Education of that club, which has been chartered 97 years back. You could have asked the guests to restrict their introduction only within that 30 seconds time because we are not running a speakathon, but just an introduction. Then is 5:30 to 5:50 business session. Generally, business session is relatively a club meeting, club session. It should be done either in the beginning or at the end, not to be mixed with the main session because not many people would be interested in knowing about your club affair. This is an internal matter. So I suggest that you have it in the beginning or in the end. It's only a suggestion. And because the timing is 20 minutes for that, you could have reduced not 3 speeches. You could have reduced it to 1 speech and made sure ask the TMOD to reduce the speech, introduction also on the theme. Again, what are the areas of improvement is TMOD took 15 minutes to brief about the theme of the day. It was like a 15 to 20 minute speech. And again, asking role players, even speakers to give their opinion on the topic could have been avoided if we wanted to have a meeting within that Toastmaster thing, 2 hours. We are late already by 15, 20 minutes. Now it's actually 30 minutes from the agenda. Voting should be normally be done because I'm a psychologist by profession. The memory of everybody is very shortened. So if you're going to do this voting, do it immediately at the end of every session. The same thing even for the timing also. Now, what are the learning areas to challenge yourself is fine tune the timing to go as per the agenda. Agenda we did not do. Whoever has done it, they have understood the timing and it should have been done. Now we are out 30 minutes, we are short. That's something to be pondered upon. In the beginning, we could have informed about the change in the first evaluator. You asked whether there is any changes. That time there was no change, but Dr. Babu in the place, we had Abdul Rahim. Him provides us challenges every time. See, if you want me to speak, I can speak for 24 hours non-stop, but that is not the thing. We have to comply with the timing and give our best within the timing. Even the grammarian took almost more than 6 minutes. Grammarian time is also like an evaluator 2 to 3 minutes. Otherwise, it should be mentioned in the agenda so that people are aware. Secondly, when you bring a general evaluator from somewhere outside who is not part of your club, you should brief him what are the ways it goes into the club meeting. Because as a VP education of a club, I tell my GE when I'm bringing him from other club, I tell them this is how we work. So timing report, as I told you, should have been given immediately after every session. I'm sure if we can implement this, we can learn a lot and have the meeting within that crisp hour. By the way, as a VP education in my club in Bradley, we have 4 speeches. And our meetings are only 1 hour, 30 minutes. Believe me, it can happen, provided we fine-tune ourselves with cutting out a lot of unnecessary things and staying within the agenda. Thank you, and over to you, Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster, District Toastmaster Pannambalam, Thirumalai.
Thank you, DT.
Yeah, I'm going to launch the poll now. By the way, we are only 9 minutes ahead of our meeting at 6:30, 4 to 6:30.
Okay, but
that's courtesy, yeah. That is the efficiency of our general evaluator in making
but
it.
What time did we start the meeting?
4
to 6:30 it is?
Yes.
Yeah. But
so
still,
even then we are late.
We are yes, we are behind schedule by 15.
We are behind schedule.
Yes, that's the reason we extended it. We agree. There was something happens, we can't control each and every individual. So people tend to speak in this Toastmaster platform as well. Some of them love to speak. That's the problem. So yes, we have to take this. Thank you.
Thank you, General Evaluator, DTM Anandada, for a detailed general evaluation. Just waiting for DTM Ram. Okay. Is DTM Ram in here?
Easier. DTM Ram is here.
Is here, no? I was looking for him. He was not here. It was, okay. Just okay. So before I transfer my control back to our president, thank you all of you for giving me this opportunity to be the TMOD of this meeting, as well as to share my views on daring to be vulnerable, and also sharing your experience and your thoughts on being vulnerable, daring to be vulnerable. Let me just take this opportunity to invite Allied Debate Club President DTM Ramkumar Nachapalli to proceed with the rest of the proceedings, to distribute the awards and give us closing remarks. Over to you, DTM Ramkumar.
Thank you, Sir Punanambalala Tirumali, and the President, WMC Abdul Rahim, Sir, and distinguished members, and my colleagues.
DTM Ram, we can't hear you.
You cannot hear me? Can you hear me
now?
Now
you are better, yeah.
Okay. I'd like to thank one and all for giving us the opportunity to associate with you, to learn, to engage with you, and to empower with you as a leader as a Toastmaster, because we at the end are a Toastmaster. Can you hear me still, or is there confusion there? Thank you very much. I awaken myself today. And without further ado, because the only thing I wanted to ask you, the two questions, whoever, we will pick randomly one person. How was the meeting? When today? And what was the takeaway message you had? Can I ask randomly? I will ask before we enter the meeting. We are running each other. Parminder Singh, sir, please. I would like to ask you, how was the meeting? What did you learn today? What was the takeaway message you had? Please, all yours, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Ramkumar. Yeah, this was my first meeting. I wanted to, bring this myself forward to this opportunity which Toastmasters provided me. And the takeaway is that I like the way how the agenda was conducted, because I have not been through this kind of agenda before. And it was very professional. It was very highly presented very well. And so basically, this is a platform. I think a great opportunity is coming for myself, and I see a lot of improvement coming forward on my way. And overall, yes, Toastmaster is a great opportunity. This is what I can say right now. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Quickly, I would like to move on to A. Sangeeta Animulan from Malaysia. The reason is she was telling me, I see only two ladies, rest of all the men. Then after her evaluation, such a great evaluation, how do you feel? How she feels today engaging us as a man? Madam Sangeeta, distinguished Toastmaster, please can you have a few words of wisdom, and what was the take-home message and what is the feedback giving to us as a president? Over to you, ma'am. DTM Sangeeta, please unmute yourself if you are there. If not, can I ask the same question to Area Director Maya Sharma? You still feel that men are empowering women or women are empowering men?
As far as empowerment is concerned, both can empower each other. As far as I was concerned, as I said, I usually participate in an all women's club, and I felt a bit vulnerable today when I joined the meeting. But I guess there is vulnerability doesn't really mean weakness. There is always a strength, a certain strength that lies behind vulnerability. All that you have to do is just identify that, push yourselves, and then I think the world will be your oyster. So it was really a meeting that I enjoyed very much.
Second question I have to you, Maya. If you have one choice given to you, that next meeting you will be the debater, would you accept it? Yes, no?
I'm not sure.
Thank you. And without further ado, just was laughter, and I know preparedness is very important. Prepare, practice. And before we adjourn the meeting, can we have a result, sir? If
yes, result is ready, sir.
Okay. Yes, sir. I would like to request our moderator Prabodha to run the slide for the winners tonight. Appreciate it.
Thank you. And it goes best timer account of grammarian goes to, of course, Toastmaster Maya Sharma. Best.
Congratulations, Toastmaster Maya Sharma. Yes.
Thank you.
Best TMOD, GE, TTM, there is a tie. TMOD, Toastmaster Punambalam Thirumalai, and GE, DTM Annadatta Murli Manohar. Then next, table topic commentator, DTM Ram Kumar Rajput. Yes. Best Evaluator Award goes to Toastmaster Abdul Rahim. And yes, Best Speaker Award goes to Toastmaster Yasodhana Venkar. Thank you, and back to President.
Thank you so much. That was impressive performance indeed. So we all learn, and learning never ends. With that, because one thing, if I have to improve, I believe that we could have, opened up parliamentarian procedures to extend 10 minutes of the timing following the motion. Can I request 10 minutes time extension, maybe that could have been helped cementing the overshot of the time period. Without further ado, I salute you.
We have done it. We have done it.
Excuse me, we already passed a resolution for 30 minutes extension. Maybe
During
you
the
were not
business
there at the time.
session.
Oh, I'm sorry then. Okay, fine. Thank you. Then, okay.
He got
Can I
disconnected
just
at that time.
can I just say something? I really,
Yes, Dr.
I'm
Babu.
sorry, I have
Yes,
Dr.
sir.
Babu
Welcome.
here.
Welcome, sir.
I
Welcome.
really enjoyed that excellent general evaluation because that was I heard very well, and even all those I heard. I'm so sorry I had to leave in between, but as the first thing I did after getting out of the meeting was log on, because I know the quality that your club elite brings in, and with WMC, Abdul Rahim and team, you are on a high. Great thing, and thank you, DTM Ramkumar, and every one of you who have joined us as our guests. I usually try to sneak into every meeting as the founder president. That's why I'm doing it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And I would like to now hand over back to our dynamic president of WMC Club, Abdul Rahim. And I solely thank and express my gratitude to all the members of LED Beaters, and special thanks to Anurata Murli Manohar, area director Maya Sharma, Sangeeta Nimolan, all the way from the Malaysia, and all the members, distinguished Toastmasters and ExCom leaders of WMC. Over to you, sir. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, DTM Ramkumar, for your graceful presence and all the distinguished members of your club. It has been an honor. It's been a pleasure with us. We thoroughly enjoyed DTM Anurata Murali, your general evaluation, Sangeeta ji and Maya Sharma ji, and all of you. Thank you so much. Parminder Singh, for your attendance. We look forward to see you in the physical meeting. And I think, DTM Ramkumar ji, I think it is your prerogative to adjourn the meeting.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time now to adjourn the meeting, not about listening to your hearts, listening to your voices. It's time now to adjourn the meeting. Officially, we adjourn the meeting today. Thank you. Please stop the recording. Appreciate it.